how about VI editor? We can open up a file and then do the editing, do our stuff, then save it, and the changes are saved. But how about if we do not want to use the VI, or how about if we do not want to interactively edit a file? We just want the parameters to be passed on to the file, maybe change a certain string, maybe it is appearing 1,000 times in an edit in a file, and we do not want to open up an editor and then do the replace function. Rather, we just want a one liner. How about that? So that is the functionality which is provided by stream editing, and in Linux the command for using that is sed, which is short for stream editor. So sed is a very powerful tool. We can do a lot with it. For example, I can combine this sed functionality with cat, maybe cat, then do the output of this file, maybe this is a file, and then use the pipe sign and take this output as an input to sed, and then replace whatever I want to do, or maybe do some other changes with the file. Likewise, I can, take the output from echo and pipe it to sed. Just remember that sed, whenever we feed a file or some string to sed takes the file line by line. So it's like if we have got 10 lines in a file and we want to make changes, sed takes in one file, puts that file into a pattern space, this is known as pattern space, and then hold it for a while and then do its stuff, whatever we want to make changes or whatever we want to do that with that certain strings that are appearing in that particular line, and then put it back onto the standard output or on the screen. By default, sed does not save the changes in the file, but we can do that, and I'll show you that how we can achieve that functionality as well. 90% of the time why sed is used, it is used for replacement of text. So let me just pull up my terminal and show you some of the ways that we can use sed for our Linux environment. So here I'm using CentOS for this tutorial, and if I type in, let's say, let me just show you where I'm at the moment. So I'm in my home directory, and I have already created this file stream edit. If we have a look at the contents, it's nothing much in there, just very basic stuff, that this is a test file, this is test is this file. So I printed in 3 lines, and I've somehow changed the sequence of the words to show you what we can achieve with sed. So the first thing that I want to show you is if I type in sed or sed, and after that I put in single quotes and then the name of the file, which is stream edit, and then enter, we see that it prints the file as it was put in its pattern space. Now if I use a flag which is P, we see that the lines get printed twice, one for the by default behavior and the other for this P option. Now let's say that we have this line, this is a test file. Now let's say that I want to remove this line, or I want to remove any line that contains the letter A. How about that? And we do that on a fly without going into the editor mode. So I type in sed, then single quote, then the character that we need to find, which is A, and then I type in D, which is for deletion. We end the single quote and then the name of the file. And once I press enter, we see that it gives us the output that where the first line is not there anymore. Now these changes are not saved in the file by default, as I just mentioned, but we can take this output, this one, and maybe redirect it to a different file, maybe a separate file, maybe ABC we can call it, or we can make these changes permanent as well. So let me just make a copy of this first, maybe CP, and then stream edit. Let's just copy it to stream edit 1. And now if I execute this command with the flag I, which is to make the changes in the input file, which is stream edit, and I press enter, we see that no output is displayed. Once I do the concatenation or show the display, show the contents of this file by typing in stream edit, cat stream edit, we see that indeed the first line is gone. So we can save the contents, but by default it does not do that. Now let's try to replace a letter or maybe a string. So the command would be, let's just have a look at the contents of the file one more time. So the file, first line has been deleted. So let's play around with stream edit one file now. Let's say that we have is over here, then other is, then one, then two is over here, and likewise two is over here. How about we want to replace this is with was? Let's try to do that using sed. So I type in sed and then this key letter S, which is for switch or substitute, and then whatever I want to substitute with whatever I want it to be replaced with, and then I close the code and then the name of the file, which is stream edit 1. Once I do that, I need to put a bar over here. So once I do that, we see that the first is, which is over here, the first is was replaced by was, but not the other is. Likewise, the first occurrence of is in second line was over here, it got replaced, and similarly the third line, the first occurrence of is was replaced but not the other ones. If we want that all the occurrences of that particular string be taken place, we can add the key letter, which is G, which is for global. Once we do that, we see that wherever is was occurring, that has been switched or substituted with the string that we passed on, which was in this case. Now by default, this replacement works as a case sensitive. So how about if we have got, let's say, small or capital letters, and we want that any string that is starting with small or capital letter, the action should be taken on that. So let's try to do one thing. Let's say that we want to substitute is with capital A's, but not globally. So once I press enter, we see that this I was capitalized, this I was capitalized, and this I was capitalized. Now, if I give that command one more time, which is this one, we will see that since this is case sensitive, the is which is starting with capital I will not get replaced with was. So once we do that, it has been replaced. So I suppose that by default, since this is a newer version of sed, that functionality regarding ignoring case, it has been embedded into this. But for older versions of sed, it does not work that way. It really has, we have to define that if it has to be case sensitive or not. And specifically what I wanted to show you is that the use of regular expression. If this had not been replaced and we had to kind of mention that whether it's a small I or capital I, it should be get replaced, then we can use a small regular expression string like